And clearly I start excelling in sales. And now I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to do sales, I've had it in my blood forever. Let's start taking this serious, right? I had already read Think and Grow Rich probably a year and a half before that, right? Like right before I opened my business, that's when I really got kind of exposed to Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill was mentioned to me by when I had started that network marketing company, which I had a little fizzle and that was it. But again, now the personal development really starts kicking in.
Right.
Plus, I remember the stuff I was toying with when I was younger, right? So it all starts coming back. And now I start taking sales seriously. And what happens? Well, what do you know? Top salesperson, you know, in the group in the mall. And then what do you know? Top salesperson in the city. And what do you know? Top salesperson in the state. And now I'm, you know, one of the top salespeople in the country. And so I'm starting to get attention. Now, before this, I'm already coming up with a bunch of ideas that'll make sales better. And I'm telling people this, but nobody's listening to me. You know how the corporate world is, especially when you're at the bottom. Everybody wants to take, get recognition for these things, or they're just not going to mention it because they don't want to lose their job, or they don't want someone else shining. But now that I've got attention and I've got people at the top that are starting to, you know, want to talk to me and congratulate me, and I've got their ear, I'm starting to say, thank you so much, but you know what I was thinking? This is it. So finally one day, the regional manager comes, and he comes down to Florida, and I didn't get to meet him because nobody told me I was off that day. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Right? But when I find out, I give the guy a call. I had to find his number first. Call him, and I went and met him at the airport before he left his flight. And that's when he knew I was hungry.
That's a scene in a movie.
Yeah. He knew I was hungry at that point. And so we started a relationship, and that was like my very first mentor, right? Which to this day, we still talk. And so then what happened? Well, I became manager, and then I became area manager. And so I worked my way up in that company. And it never stopped after that. Now here I am, you know, in control of many stores and many people. And then a cousin calls me one time and says, hey, Chris, are you interested in making money? And I was like, I don't know what network marketing company you're doing. I'm not interested, but if you have food and beer there, I will show up out of respect for you, and I will get very excited and make sure that everyone else that's there gets involved. Fair enough? Yeah. And then you know the rest.
Yeah,
that's where we met. They actually, as soon as I heard what that company offered, it was what I considered a very sexy offering. I always said if I could see products and services instead of products, I would be interested. And that's where our that's
where our story begins. Yeah. So I have a similar. I don't know if I ever told you this. I started direct sales straight out of high school. I was 18 years old. So I was a boy. I was a little boy when I started direct sales, network marketing. And that industry turned me into a man. I learned integrity. I learned keeping your word. I learned how to sell. I learned how to present. I learned how to speak to people. I learned how to carry myself. I learned how to be a confident person. I owe my life to sales, direct sales, network marketing. It was the best business school, I would say, I've ever experienced. And it's opened so many doors for me. I mean, you're my godfather. I met you in network marketing, right? All of my close friends, my close circle now, I met in direct sales. I mean, I wouldn't have written this book if it wasn't for that industry. I could tell you, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't. And not only that, but you know, we had a very special environment in that company. We did.
You know, we were blessed. The leadership was really, really cool. The organization was cool.
Definitely.
The training was amazing. So I had already started my personal development before I got there, but all that did was amplify it so much more.
Right.
And so both of us, we're still in touch with so many of our friends from there. We've done business with them. We've done other side businesses and hustles with them. So we always refer to it kind of like the pedigree. You know, we come from that school. And everybody that we know from there has become highly successful in whatever other ventures they've done.
Anyone who's applying what they learned.
Hats off to that, you know. Whatever may have happened afterwards and how that is nothing compared to what it did to each of us professionally and personally.
110%.
That helped us, you know, kind of.
I mean, literally, there's not one person I think of that's doing went into entrepreneurship for themselves or went into sales. Jeff is kicking butt at Cadillac. I have a friend of mine, Wilfredo, who's going to be on the podcast soon. He went out and started a merchant services company. He's doing great. You know my story. You know your story. You're kicking ass in timeshare, which we haven't even got into, and it's crazy how big of an impact it had even after the company fell apart and everything, because I've never seen something where as a business it just wasn't good, but as a school it was fantastic.
It was phenomenal.
And it impacted so many people. You know, it really did. So definitely. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about it. It taught me everything, the base for, I'm the #1 guy at Cadillac now. You know? I mean, right? And it's big. I apply everything I learned. You know, it's a blessing. It was definitely. And then I met you, and you know, the rest is history. You know, so Padrino, this was a lot of fun. So what? I usually wrap up the episode by asking a couple questions. So I mean, I know most of these, but for the audience, of course, what inspires you?
This is going to be a weird answer for you. I think over the years it's changed a lot. I used to chase money a lot. That doesn't inspire me. I mean, nothing wrong with it. I like making it, you know, but it goes back to that experience conversation that we had. I think that the basic unit in life is the family. So everything that has to do with progressing that family and moving those next generations forward and inspiring those next generations forward is kind of what inspires me. That and the experiences, you know, so for example, if you don't have a family or you know, it's the experiences that make you the person that will have a family or that will move forward or whatever. Next generation. That's where kind of legacy inspires me right now.
It's a big part of it. For me, for sure, we've had this conversation already. My 20s were amazing. I turned 30 a couple months ago. I had a lot of experiences in my 20s. I've traveled the world, and you know, I've been doing okay in my social life with females, you know, stuff like that. And after having had a lot of fun and having a lot of experiences, I'm ready to, the family portion of my life, I think I'm ready for it. Ready to find, you know, some good young girl and, you know, settle down, have some
Now,
kids.
This was a historic moment. I've been waiting to hear you say that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
I'm not like looking for it. It's something I would like.
Right.
Yeah,
You're not hanging up the gloves yet.
No. However, if an opportunity presents itself and it's like it's the ripe, you know, the mango is ripe, then I'm gonna pluck it. So yeah, I'd like to have a couple kids and get married and get on to the next phase of life, you know. So,
awesome.
Definitely. I can feel you on the legacy. That motivates me too. Having kids and especially having a niece and nephew now, that's really cool. You know. We're playing games with them, going to visit them, and being a part of their lives, you know. And then seeing my mom, that's a grandmother now, like thinking like, wow, the day I'm a grandfather, you know. So,
and I'll add another thing to it that has to do with the legacy. So, like, you know how I said, well, I mean, I like making money, but it doesn't motivate me. But however, I like helping other people make money. I like helping people. So even like when I'm sales training, right? As a sales trainer, I like getting people that have never made 6 figures in their life and teach them or help them get to a point where they're making 6 figures, because that's life-changing.
Definitely.
And that's a skill that'll never go away.
That you can apply anywhere.
So, so I like the fact of helping other people do that.
Definitely. So that's why I tell some people approach me and when I need to make more money, I need to change in my life. I tell them, get into sales. Get into sales. You're going to develop yourself as a human being. You're going to become another you that you're never going to recognize. You're going to build a skill you're going to be able to take anywhere in the world and be able to make money. You're going to become recognized. There's big recognition in becoming a top salesman in the world. And the benefits far outweigh the risks.
Well, you're not the only one that says that. Andrew Tate says that.
Right.
You know, Robert Kiyosaki says that.
Yeah.
Grant Cardone says that.
I mean,
they all started like that. All of them. From nothing.
Patrick
From nothing.
Patrick Bet David. I mean, the list goes on
Yeah.
of successful people that say get into sales. So